Thank you. So I'm Sandrine Dixon-Decleve, and I'm the co-president of the Club of Rome. And some of you may not be familiar, but this is an organization that already 50 years ago declared that there were limits to growth, and that the continuous growth of population in a world which had planetary boundaries was going to actually create social and environmental tipping points, in particular in the 2020s, if we did not act. And this incredible campaign is fundamental because it looks immediately at the problems of inequality and poverty, which actually are the two new key turnarounds that have come out of our book, Earth for All, A Survival Guide for Humanity. In redoing actually the discussions around the limits to growth in this 50th anniversary year, we have looked at the different system dynamics across the globe and what truly are the key impacts that we will see with continued climate change. And the main impacts are going to be social, beyond the environmental impacts. So the reason why this campaign is so important is because it takes into consideration the depth of the needs of people on the ground. It is bottom up rather than top down. It goes beyond the usual neoclassical, neoliberal, and neocolonial structures that actually have created some of the poverty issues that we see today. It answers to the needs of the most vulnerable and to the needs of women, and the way in which we bring women into this is fundamental. And in fact, today there is a declaration from women which is talking about the importance of emergency and declaring emergency. So I think that there are a series of win-wins in this campaign. And in the Club of Rome, and also myself, working on all these issues, the more we can optimize a systemic approach with a series of win-wins that are bottom-up, collaborating, bringing forward different partners, and ensuring that we service the need of people while we protect the planet is important.
Amazing. And I guess that's the power, right, of it. Instead of the top-down, listen to actual people's needs, but also empower people to act on it. Because also we've heard the other day, now the whirlwind of COP, I don't remember the session where I heard this, but I'm going to say it. I remember Hastings Chikoko from C40 in a session where World GPC launched the Africa Manifesto for Sustainable Cities and the Built Environment. He said, sometimes communities just complain and cry. He said that like saying an African man. But we have to go beyond that. That's not it. We, from wherever we are, wherever we stand, with whatever resource, we can make a difference for ourselves, for our families, for our communities. So it's about empowering, even though we can do much more with less. I guess it's also the call of the state of the world. Sandrine, from your experience, how do you see the Club of Rome supporting this initiative? What would you, beyond the outreach, what voice would you like to lend to this initiative?
So first of all, I want to commend Sheila for all of her incredible work, and Sheila is actually a member of the Club of Rome. And in our discussions, I really believe that this type of approach is what reflects the needs now of society, and hence why the Club of Rome wants to be working actually with this incredible campaign, beyond being able to integrate this into our Earth for All movement, which, as I said, has poverty and inequality at the core, but also empowerment, and then ensuring access to food and energy. I think it's very important that we bring in the economists, the scientists, the thought leaders, with those that are truly on the ground, the caretakers of our cities, the caretakers of our resources, to better create those feedback loops and understand the needs. Our goal is by 2030 to put in place what we call the giant leap scenario. The giant leap scenario is one that is very much based on having those 5 turnarounds occur at the same time. Maybe 2 last thoughts. Within the discussion around poverty alleviation, we are very much looking at the need, for example, to have debt cancellation, to ensure that we take into consideration universal basic dividend and use of universal basic rights. This is a basic right. This is actually the underbelly of our communities. And it's not just in the slum dweller communities. Let me add one last point. We can, at one point, moving now into the future, all be homeless. Our refugee crisis is not a crisis of just some countries. It will be a crisis that hits all of us, whether it is through migration or whether it is through the way in which environmental and economic impacts, look at the inflationary pressures, the energy poverty that's happening now in Europe, is actually displacing people. So my call to everyone is this may seem to be very far away in a slum community in India. If we do not take care of the world's most vulnerable, we will also become the world's most vulnerable.